Ready.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Number 11.
Tuesday.
The Union and support for the Union is strong, and I was delighted to note in the most recent opinion polls that support for independence in Scotland is plummeting.
A very interesting definition of plummeting, Mr. Speaker, when it consistently remains higher than it was in the independence referendum of 2014. But we were told during that campaign and afterwards that Scotland was going to have one of the most powerful, devolved sub-state legislatures in the entire world, if not the universe. So what is the government's baseline for that? Can you give us some examples of parliaments that are more or less powerful than the Scottish Parliament?
Well, I would just note that at the referendum to which he refers, support for independence was at 45%. It's currently 37% in the polls, and 37 is 8 less than 45. But more broadly, the Scottish Parliament has significant powers. It is a pity that the Scottish Government doesn't use them, and unfortunately, as a result, Scotland's people are let down when it comes to education, when Scotland is tumbling down. Actually, when Scotland sadly doesn't have the reforms that we have in England, which have seen us rise up international league tables. It used to be the case that Scotland's education system was the pride of the globe, but it's now England that has the best readers in the Western world.
Let's come to the SNP spokesperson, Chris Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the Secretary of State some questions on his role in intergovernmental relations and drug policy, of which he has said a number of interesting things. So the Secretary of State is on record saying he thinks public health measures which are backed by strong scientific evidence, which follow the lead of the doctors, the clinicians, we should look seriously at them. Drug consumption rooms and decriminalisation of possession of small quantities of drugs have been proven to work throughout the world and have now been proposed by the Scottish Government. So does the Secretary of State accept that the outright rejection we saw from the UK Government at the weekend out of hand undermines the Scottish Government, undermines those campaigners and those who help drug users, and undermines the Union?
No, I don't accept that, but I think he does raise a very, very serious question, and I've had the opportunity to discuss with the member for Glasgow Central some of the challenges that she faces in her constituency. We both know that drugs deaths in Scotland are running at an unacceptably high level, and there is no single answer to dealing with that problem. But I do believe, as was outlined very clearly by politicians from both the government and indeed the principal opposition party, that the Scottish Government's proposals are the wrong proposals at the wrong time.
Chris Stevens.
Secretary of State for that answer, but the heads of all 31 UN agencies have called for possession decriminalisation, and more than 30 countries have made changes which have cut deaths and incarceration. So there is no reasonable, rational and evidence cause for the UK Government to make, or indeed the Labour Party, for rejecting the proposals out of hand. So can I ask him seriously, in his role as intergovernmental relations, to work with the Scottish Government to be the grown-up in his side of the room and engage with the Scottish Government and those drug campaigners?
Well, I'm always happy because, as the honourable gentleman points out, this is a both complex and also challenging and heartbreaking issue. And I do believe that it is right that the governments work together with the NHS, with law enforcement and with others in order to deal with this challenge. But I believe that the specific proposals for decriminalisation of possession that are being put forward are not the best way forward.
Ready.
Speaker, the Secretary of State said that the Scottish Government isn't using the powers that it has, but it's his government that keeps vetoing Scottish Government policies and legislation that's been passed by the Scottish Parliament. Doesn't that just show that the Conservatives never wanted devolution in the first place, and now they can barely contain their glee at getting to roll back the powers of devolution?
No, it was the Scottish National Party that didn't want devolution. They want independence. It's in the name, isn't it? Because you're nationalists and you want to break up the United Kingdom. We extend devolution both within England and we support it in Scotland.